for Vaughn comments. I don't know if people still say it.
For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more.
I keep it all real. I robbed a couple. Took some bricks from some people. Recently, right before that,
got to the light. He was going to go drink and smoke some weed, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He's hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
One rapper let an interviewer know that he stabbed 12 people and later got arrested for it. And another one admitted to getting Tupac smoked. These are times rappers got arrested over interviews. And we got to start off by talking about P. Diddy, because his name has been all over the news after the truth came out about the things that really happened during his infamous parties all those years ago. From keeping girls locked up against their will to even weird allegations, it seems there was nothing that didn't happen at Diddy's coveted white parties. Because Diddy even hinted at some of the weird things that he's done in some of his past interviews. Because the first time Diddy slipped at saying how his parties really went down was in a personal interview he did for Entertainment Tonight back in 1999. In the interview, he even predicted his 2024 arrest by saying that there was a lot of illegal stuff that happened at his parties and that he would probably end up getting arrested if he kept hosting them.
Your parties are the hottest ticket around.
They won't even give me a permit for the parties, man. They don't want me to throw the parties no more. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life. You're gonna hear about my parties. They're gonna be shutting them down. They're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
He also said something incriminating a couple of years later during an interview with Conan O'Brien, because Conan asked Diddy what it took to throw the perfect party. But Diddy's response left everyone confused. Because he started things fine, letting Conan know things like needing good-looking people, liquor, all kinds of stuff.
A killer party. What's the ingredient? What do you do to make just an amazing killer party? Because mine, I put out the Cheese Whiz. I put on the Paula Anka. No one comes. Wrong move.
See, you're doing the wrong things.
Wrong thing. Okay.
This is what you need to do. Women, beautiful women, of course.
Beautiful women.
Beautiful men for the ladies, of course.
But then he went on to say that the doors needed to be locked at all times for the girls to stay inside. And that's when Conan's expression immediately changed.
We need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right. Just
Plurals.
different blend. You need
Blends.
the ladies. You need the booze.
You need some water. Don't leave.
Right.
Gotta
right.
keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you doing?
Depends on the way you look at it.
But it don't stop there, because Diddy did the same thing more recently when he went to the Ellen Show in 2009. Ellen asked Diddy at what time his parties usually started. And he said that they started at 9:30, but that his weird other kind of parties happened at midnight.
Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party.
Now, Diddy might not have gotten arrested over these interviews particularly, but some fans claim that these are definitely going to be used as evidence and proof that he got some weird things going on behind closed doors. But not the same can be said about A.R.Ab, who snitched on himself multiple times, both online and in interviews, leading to his own arrest. A.R.Ab is a Philly rapper who began growing his career after his partner Cassidy started dropping back-to-back hits in the early 2000s, with his debut album, Split Personality, reaching gold status just a month after release. And Ab wasn't really focused on music and cared more about putting work in the streets, which caused him to get in a lot of trouble with the law. Because around 2009, Ab started the gang Original Block Hustlers, or OBH for short. They started things off quickly gaining territory in North Philly until they got enough money to begin their own label with the same name as the gang. But that didn't slow Ab down, because he ended up getting shot 10 times at a stop sign while cruising through Kensington in September 2010. From there, he managed to be invited to do a session with Meek Mill, but missed the opportunity since he was more focused on the streets. But that's not even the dumbest thing he did, because right after he started to get a buzz with his music career, he started self-snitching, letting everybody know the things he and his gang did behind the scenes. Like himself being the mastermind of the drug-selling operation, as well as sending hits to anyone who tried to go against them. Because in one video, Ab let everyone know that anybody that rolled down their block would instantly get smoked.
You come down this block, is nobody gonna make it off the block, man. I promise you, you won't make it off this motherfucker, man. Anyway. On everything I love, you come up on us, man, you're not gonna make it. It's gonna blow your clean off, man.
Then in another video, he let everyone know about the kidnappings and robberies that he's done with no hesitation.
13 shots. And I don't know what it's for, you know why? Because I kidnapped, I robbed, I killed a lot of shit I did.
But it only gets crazier, because in one interview, Ab was letting the interviewer know that he doesn't make no money off rap, and his cash comes from extorting people and slanging rocks.
So I got this whole building up 50. What? I don't make no money off rap. I extort people. I extort my too. It's one of my hustles. Got shot a lot of times behind it, but it paid my own house. Somebody at the corner went to buy an ounce of crack off me. So I'm caught at the crib ready to serve my ounce of crack.
And one day, Ab was getting interviewed by DJ Vlad, and Vlad wanted to know details on what caused Ab to get shot 10 times. And Ab didn't hold back and let Vlad know it could have been because the time he robbed the dude for some bricks right before getting hit up.
So talk about the situation that led to you getting shot 10 times. Because I mean that's something that's not like, you know, like a shoot and run. Like that's a very serious situation. Like I'm assuming you know who the person is.
Actually,
that sounds very personal.
Actually, I never really find out who shot me because, well, I've been into a lot of shit, so I keep it all real. I robbed a couple, took some bricks from some people. Recently, right before that.
Ab would also go a bit off topic during the question, and he ended up letting Vlad know that he smoked a couple people back in the day, so he doesn't know what the real reason was for him getting hit 10 times.
I done shot some shit back in the day, you know what I'm saying, and I'm thinking it came from back in the day, or I just took a couple bricks from it, but adding up, nobody claimed it.
In 2017, the FBI had already caught up to Ab's and OBH's operations, with the local police performing a search warrant in one of the gang's houses. And then, the FBI performed another search warrant in 2018 at another location, seizing over 20 pounds of coke, 6 pounds of ice, and $20,000 in cash. And after a few years of trial, AR was finally sentenced to spend 45 years in prison in 2021 for his role as the leader of the original Block Hustlers, as well as 10 years of supervised release and multiple fines of $5,000. Now let's move on to YNW Melly, because everyone knows that Melly is currently serving time for allegedly killing 2 of his best friends, YNW Sack Chaser and Juvie, since investigations revealed that Melly was in the car when the alleged drive-by shooting happened. And before getting arrested, Melly made things worse with the song Murder on My Mind, since in the lyrics, fans say he talked about the situation where he took out both of his friends, with lyrics like, I didn't even mean to shoot him, he just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back, and shot him twice. His body dropped down to the floor, and he got teardrops in his eyes. But that ain't the only time Melly snitched on himself, and it led to him getting arrested. Because one day, a YouTuber who does public interviews saw Melly in the mall and asked Melly, what's a message to the first person that he smashed? But Melly was confused by the question and thought the dude meant the first person he killed and not smashed.
My question for the day is, what is your message to your first buddy?
Tuka, let me get it now.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Tuka, OTLYCLYW.
Oh, God, bro.
You said first body.
Hell yeah.
Like, what you mean first body?
But just like Ab, Rollo was a known face in the streets in the city until he ended up behind bars for speaking too much during interviews. Now, Rollo has been a big name in Atlanta's rap scene for quite a few years now, featuring huge artists such as Future in his debut single, Can't Lie, since he wanted to have real talent to kickstart his career. And Future was one of the biggest names at the moment. And later on, he featured Lil Baby on his song, Lil Cali in Pakistan. But everyone knew that Rollo's money didn't come from the rap game, since he was one of the biggest drug dealers in Atlanta. And it's something he hasn't been afraid to share with the public. During an interview with Vlad TV, he went on to talk about his whole criminal beginnings, like saying how his father was a kingpin and that he took his position after he passed away.
He was a kingpin. He made a lot of money, but you know, as you get 60, 70 years old, it just ain't no point in hustling like that no more. He was hustling all his life. All his clientele knew me as his son, so it was like it almost chose you, and it just chose me because they was just waiting for me to get some dope to supply them with. So as I grow older, the clientele was already attached to me.
He also mentioned how he went on to become the biggest dealer on his block.
I was the biggest drug dealer in the Bluff for a long period of time. I had the Bluff and I had Simpson. Like they like two different neighborhoods almost, but they're in the same area. And I was the biggest drug dealer over there, so I had the best quality drugs, and I also had large quantity for a lower price, you know what I'm saying? So I was out beating all my competition around the way.
Later on, he spoke about managing to make over $12 million during his time as a kingpin, but it only ended up being $3 million after all the expenses.
I actually made 12, right? Because I was counting how much money I had made. But I only had like 3. I only jewelry and cars and clubs and clothes, jacket, like if you make $1 million, you're gonna spend probably like $300,000, $400,000 just making it on everyday life. Like even if you taking your girl out to the restaurant, it costs money for the gas. Like so, I just was counting my profits I made.
And Rollo wasn't scared to let the world know about his dirty work, because the craziest thing he talked about during that interview was confessing to the time he shot at Rich Homie Quan over Quan treating him like he was weak. But he also went on to mention that to him, it wasn't wrong, because that's what he knew all his life.
He leaked that out. I didn't never even confront Rich Homie Quan. He called me like, bro, why the hell you go on Disney 50 doing all that? I'm like, hell, bro, I just want the world to know how y'all rap. See, y'all ain't real as y'all say y'all lives on this music, and y'all got diehard fans. And like I wanted to tell the fans in the world, like, this ain't really going on. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't at the net trying to kill him or nothing that social media like make it out to be. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to show them like he ain't gonna do that to me that he did to other people. I hate when people prey on the weak, because I seen him and other rappers go at people that went about their life and didn't have that going on, and they was able to prey on the weak. The things that I do when I shot people or when I shoot people, or the thing that I did at Rich Homie Quan, I ain't feel like it was a bad thing to do, because that's what we did all our life. So a person that ain't seen that and ain't used to that, they'll think it's wrong. But when you raised up, that's all you know. If your mama teach you Spanish and you from America, you only know Spanish.
But that's not the only time he talked about his past during an interview, because a year prior, he was interviewed by DJ Smalls to specifically talk about it, with him saying that he had been putting work in the streets since he was just 13 years old, since he was selling dope and hitting at people.
See, I had, when I was like 13 or 14, I had shot some dudes tried to rob me in the Bluff. I was a youngin' on the block, know what I'm saying? I ain't know no better, know what I'm saying? I ain't know that I wasn't supposed to do what I was doing, but now that I look at a 13 and 14-year-old little boy, I be like, that's a child. And I was out there selling dope around the campfire. You know, we used to light the fire to get the mosquitoes away. But them motherfuckers still binders. I don't know how the hell, who hell came up with the smoke and get the mosquitoes away. But some dudes robbed me and tried to take my bomb, and I had one up there and I shot a couple people. I was getting a 9 for $5,000. And I was making a little money, you know what I'm saying? At that age, you getting $10,000, $15,000, you was the in Atlanta, know what I'm saying? I don't know where about anywhere else, but I was making $5,000 and $10,000. Some dudes robbed me named Gregory Bailey. He robbed me, and I went back and I shot him, and I shot a couple of his friends. I shot like 4 people.
And that was more than enough evidence to directly incriminate Rollo with multiple crimes. And in April 2018, it was reported that he had been arrested by the FBI over charges of leading a criminal organization and for trafficking up to $2 million in marijuana.
Local rapper Rollo is now facing federal charges after a raid at his Southwest Atlanta apartment. Our cameras were rolling today as agents from the FBI and the ATF searched this apartment.
He initially got an 8-year sentence, but was released after only 5 years, serving 4 years and being credited 1.5 years for good behavior. But stick around, because this next one is definitely one of the craziest times a rapper got arrested over an interview, as it involves one of the biggest cases in rap history, Tupac's murder. For decades, what really happened back in 1996 remained a mystery. But in 2023, Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D, was arrested for being a passenger in the car that did the drive-by and for being the shot caller of the whole hit. But Keefe didn't want to stay quiet about it and told the whole world what happened in his book, Compton Street Legend, as well as in several interviews right after the book came out. Now, Keefe wasn't a rapper, but he had deep ties in the community, being close friends with Suge Knight since they were in high school, and was one of the main investors behind Death Row Records, before falling off with Suge over thinking he was too soft. Back in 2019, Keefe sat down with Vlad TV to tell pretty much everything about what happened that day in Vegas, as well as the other people who were involved. According to one of the detectives who worked the case, Keefe told them that Diddy offered them $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge since he wanted Death Row out of the picture.
For an amount of money, and they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there, man, I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. You know, it's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's what the agreement amount was, $1 million.
Later in the interview, Keefe said how they were waiting for Tupac outside the Tyson versus Selden fight. And in past confession recordings, he said how Terrence Brown, aka T Brown, pulled up next to Suge's car, and the guys who were in the backseat rolled down their windows before blasting on Tupac as he tried to get a gun to shoot back.
And then you hear these girls say, Tupac, Tupac.
No, we coming up, what's the name? What's that, Flamingo? Yeah, I think that's Flamingo. We was coming up Flamingo and got to the light. We was gonna go drink and smoke some weed, and he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Tupac.
Yeah, he was.
So what happens next?
And we just came, and I ain't gonna go into the details like that.
You said that Tupac pulled out a gun.
It looked like he was reaching, yeah. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you actually see a gun?
No, once he got the reaching, I got the ducking.
So someone from your car
That's what happened.
Started shooting at Tupac and Suge.
He also went on to talk with The Art of Dialogue just a few months before his arrest and said that his relationship with Diddy went further than just being paid for the hit, mentioning that he ended up saving Diddy's life on multiple occasions after things went down.
Speaking of Puffy, right, you saving Puffy. Tell me that story about how you saved Puffy and a guy named D-Mac, if I'm not mistaken.
Them dudes came from everywhere. We was in the VIP upstairs too, shooting pool. I don't know how they got by the security or nothing, but they was up there about 30 Don Wu riders. It just so happened that I knew Grand Puba and Big Chris and Geek. They're like, oh, that's Keefe D. Otherwise, we would have been destroyed up in that mother. They would have broke our back. I ain't gonna lie, we'd have lost that one for sure. But I had me a pool stick. I was gonna defend myself. Yeah, that's one time he could have lost his life.
Now, the only reason Keefe was saying all of this was because he was sure he wouldn't get caught, since it had been so many years since the incident happened, and thought he had already gotten away from it. But it goes to show that you're never safe from life catching up with you, especially when you commit one of the most talked about crimes in the history of rap. And Soulja Boy also got into some deep trouble with the law over things he said during an interview, because back in 2014, he faced a felony weapons charge for carrying a loaded firearm in the streets of LA. He was placed under arrest in a San Fernando Valley jail, but walked away after posting a $35,000 bail. He was placed on probation until further notice. A few years later, in 2019, he shared the details of something that went down in his house with the guys of the Breakfast Club. He told them that a group of 5 armed guys wearing all black broke in his crib in Atlanta while he was in the studio room, and he fired at them, hitting 2 of them.
Some tried to kill me before, you know what I'm saying?
So you probably got some PTSD?
Yeah, tried to rob me, I shot them. So like,
we heard about it.
Yeah, how'd you do it, man? That was classic.
We heard about
that
it,
video
baby.
of you
We heard
explaining
about
that
it.
was classic.
No, I got a movie coming out. It's called Soulja Boy. The movie kicked in the door. I looked out the door. I seen like 5 running through my house with ski masks on with AK-47s.
Where were you? You were inside?
I was in the studio room. You know what I'm saying? They kicked in outside though, in the kitchen. So when I looked, they didn't see me. So when I cracked the door open, I seen like 5 in all black with ski masks on with guns. So I just opened up the door and started shooting at all of them.
What kind of gun do you have?
I had a Glock, like a 4.5 Glock pistol.
Okay.
I started shooting at all of them. The first I missed, he ducked and ran out the house.
Now, it's true that Georgia's Stand Your Ground law allows for a citizen to defend their house against anyone who poses a threat once inside. And Soldier's guns were registered, but he was still on probation from his arrest way back in 2014. So when the judge in charge of the case saw what happened, he was immediately arrested again for violating his probation in March 2019 and was sentenced to spend 240 days in jail as a result. And the interviews was also part of the reason, since it went mega viral and the feds paid attention to everything Soldier talked about. And when it comes to rappers snitching on themselves during interviews, we have to talk about Boss Top, a notorious member of O-Block, because back in August 2020, Panda Body Productions, a small YouTube channel that focused on showcasing the reality of Chicago's most dangerous hoods, did a small documentary on O-Block and asked Boss about his thoughts on the passing of FBG Duck, one of O-Block's biggest ops at the time, who had been gunned down a few weeks before. But it seemed like his answer had a deeper meaning behind it, because he said that it wouldn't have happened if he hadn't dissed T-Roy, one of O-Block's dead members and close friend to King Von.
You got any like thoughts like on FBG Duck, you know, any thoughts on him? Like, did you know him?
Who Duck?
Did you know him before, like everything?
Like that, I don't know. On game. All I know, don't say that about Troy or rest in peace, Duck. On game, he's like, you got anything about FBG Duck? That's you know what I'm saying? You know, don't say about Troy. That's it. About Troy. Get that guy over there. Boy, don't ever, you know me. Come on, man, don't do that. Don't do that. You know I know that. Stop playing.
Right after the hit on Duck happened, everyone suspected O-Block of being behind it all. And people saw what Boss said on the interview as a dead giveaway. People in the Chiracology subreddit also spoke on the situation, saying that Boss Top can't shut his dang mouth for nothing. And as of January 2024, a total of 6 O-Block members, C Murder, Kenny Mack, Los, C-Thang, Teezy, and Moowop, have been convicted of the shooting. An alleged witness said that King Von had placed a bounty for $100,000 on Duck himself, since he wanted to get rid of him for disrespecting T-Roy. But for Pee Wee Longway, it was his suspicious silence during an interview that really made police look at him and led them to find out what he had done. Because back in 2017, when he was starting to blow up again, he was interviewed by Vlad TV to talk about his relationship with other Atlanta artists, as well as his upbringing in the South Side. And it looked like he was having a good time just by being there and telling his life story. But one of the first questions he was asked was about his involvement with the Crips, because he used a lot of blue during his videos. But he just denied everything in a really suspicious way.
When I look at your music, when I listen to your music and I look at your album covers and stuff like that, I'm seeing a lot of blue. The color blue seems to be very prominent.
It's a nice color, my boy. It's a nice color. It ain't nothing like that.
Now, I assume there's a Crip thing going on?
Nah, just a nice color.
Just a nice color?
Yeah.
No cripping going on.
No, nothing. Just
no
a nice
nothing.
color. That's the scene. Themes and the scenes, man.
Okay.
Vlad also asked Longway if he started hustling at a young age to his environment, and he instantly let Vlad know he was more of a school guy.
You know, growing up in that type of environment, a lot of people start to hustle early. Like, how old were you when you first started hustling?
I wasn't hustling, man. I was a school guy, man. Going to school, handling my business, man. You know.
You 100% legal? You were good?
Yeah.
Doing everything by the book?
Doing it by the book, man.
People in the comment section praised his way of not snitching on himself, saying that he and Vlad with the dummy role, some of these rappers should take notes. And Pee Wee's the prime example of be smart but play dumb. But it seemed like this was the sign that police needed to put tabs on him. In September 2024, Muskogee County Sheriff disclosed that over 100 individuals had been arrested following a massive drug bust that went by the name of Operation Sweet Silence. It was reported that over $200 million in illegal substances, weapons, and ammunition had been seized from several safe houses across the state. People were quick to think that Longway was within those arrested, since it was known that he was facing some legal trouble, and a bunch of media outlets published articles about it. And those were only rumors at the time, because shortly after the allegations were made, the case documents of Longway's actual crime were discovered. Mentioned as Quincy Williams, it was discovered that Longway was involved in a massive distribution operation that had directed ties with the Mexican cartel, and he had been thoroughly investigated by the DEA and Georgia's Criminal Investigations Division. His involvement included setting up deals, performing transactions, and laundering money, all in compliance with at least 5 other members of the operation. On the case document, it was discovered, thanks to his phone being tapped, that he carried out direct conversations with one of the other members in which he tried to negotiate an exchange of coke and at least 44 pounds of ice, which were mentioned as shoes and windows, respectively. The investigation led to search warrants being executed on one of those members' houses, leading to the retrieval of over $100,000 in cash inside a safe. And neither him or his team have spoken publicly on the matter. But he's certainly in some serious trouble. At least he didn't go bragging about it online, though. But the same can't be said about some of Taekwon World members who got immediately arrested after talking too much during an interview. Taekwon World is a known set of gangster disciples and Black P. Stones, centered around the Woodlawn neighborhood of Chicago. They've been known for putting in work since their start back in 2012, and for being one of O-Block's biggest rival gangs. In fact, it was a member of Taekwon World, TB, who carried out the hit against T-Roy in 2017. With their reputation and constant trouble with rival gangs, you would think they would be extra careful when it comes to the things they say on camera, and that they would have lookouts at all times. But it seems that this couldn't be further from the truth, because back in 2022, 4 members were being interviewed down in 800 Hood when they began talking about how they're used to extorting their ops, when suddenly the place got raided by a bunch of cops who ended up chasing them all down.
Who really got extorted?
Y'all still talking to Lil Reggie?
That's gang, that's family.
Don't move. No one move. No one move. Bro, watch the front. Tell him watch the front. Tell him watch the front. Don't move. Stay right there. Right there. Stay right here, bro. Watch the front, guys. Watch the front. Watch the front. They ran.
We got traffic stop. Tree stop.
62, 61, 17. The rear of the building.
But let's move on to Casanova 2 times, because he might have the craziest interview where he pretty much bragged about every crime he ever committed. Because Casanova has deep ties with the streets, being a member of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation Bloods gang since he was a teenager. He even got arrested at 18 and was taken to Rikers Island for 8 years under robbery charges, which is where he met A$AP Rocky, who helped him get into the rap game. In 2017, he sat down with Vlad TV to talk about his life story. But he went on to say more than he needed, though, like telling Vlad how he used to rob people barefaced and then taking pictures in the club with the same people he robbed to trick people into thinking they were cool.
So, from what I understand, you used to rob people barefaced. No mask.
Nah.
And then I heard you would rob people and then take pictures with them at the club.
That was my way of, it was like tricking the crowd, I would say, because you might rob a dude and the dude just talking, everybody hearing, you hearing, Vlad hearing, yeah, man, he said he's gonna kill Casanova. But when I see you, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? You right? Hey, what's going on? Yo, Vlad, take this picture real quick. Yeah, all right. You was talking like you was gonna do something, but you ain't do nothing. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not even gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna put the picture up on Instagram, and everybody gonna be like, no way. No way, this guy's a legend. You know what I'm saying?
He also talked about a time he used to trade shots with one of his ops before sharing the stage together years later.
I used to go to East New York, shoot at him, he used to come to Flatbush, shoot at me. I used to go to the club, pop on some of his mans. He used to try to catch me, I'll shoot at him. And I was like, he on the stage with me right now, it's funny.
And now he was always in charge of doing the dirty work, and that would led to become the toughest gangster in Flatbush at the time.
And you became the top gangster in Flatbush.
Yeah, because I just think it was because of my dirty work, not because I was just the toughest. You know what I'm saying? It was just my dirty work. I was always willing to go to that limit. Whether it was putting in work, whether it was a robbery, whether it was this, that, and the third, I was always willing, like, come on, let's do it. And some people didn't want to get in the ride. Some people were like, nah, you know what, you bugging now.
And even the stuff he had to do to survive in prison, because he would get picked on all the time and ended up cutting 12 other inmates to defend himself.
How many people did you cut in prison?
3 to 4. That I got tickets on, like paperwork on.
But really, it's more.
Yeah, it's just random. I wouldn't be able to give you a number because it was just so much. It would be like yard fights and stuff, and you just, you just swinging and you just doing stuff like that. So it probably, if you really want to tally it up, probably like 12 the most, I say. 12.
On the streets, it was clear that Casanova was quickly becoming the face of the Gorilla Stone, and it seemed that the police already had him in their sights. In 2020, he got arrested for gang-related racketeering and narcotics offenses out of his involvement with Gorilla Stone, participating in a shooting that same year and conspiring to traffic over 220 pounds of weed in 2018. He pled guilty to the charges in 2022 and went on to be sentenced to at least 15 years in prison. Now let's move on to Durk, because even though he didn't say too much in his interview, he still ended up saying much more than needed. Because in early 2023, academics invited Durk on his podcast to talk about the issues with NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo after King Von lost his life outside of a nightclub in Atlanta. And Quando and Durk sent several shots at Durk and Von, and Durk finally responded to all the dissing that Quando was doing in late 2022 when he hopped on a song with Babyface Ray named Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy. Because on the song, he rapped, "Look on the news, you see your son, you screaming." No. This line refers to an incident when Quando Rondo was in LA with his homies, because Quando and his crew were at a gas station when 3 dudes pulled up and started firing their way. Quando avoided getting hit, but his homie Lil Pab unfortunately ended up losing his life, and the police say it was a targeted hit.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath.
So when Durk was on Off the Record with DJ Academics, he revealed that Quando stopped dissing after what happened to Lil Pab. He also revealed that fans can't say Slide for Vine anymore due to Lil Pab's death.
Vine comments. I don't know if people still say it. They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They be like, they be saying Slide for Vine. I think they trolling me. Yo, by the way, that song is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more. For some odd reason. I don't know. Might be the water.
And this ended up catching up to Durk, because in October 2024, Durk was arrested in Florida on federal charges for allegedly doing a murder for hire that targeted Quando Rondo. Because articles say that Durk paid some OTF members to do the hit in LA when Lil Pab lost his life. Since they wanted to get back for Vine, and Durk is expected to be extradited from Broward County, Florida to California to face these charges. If convicted, he faces the potential of the death penalty. And speaking of rappers saying crazy things on interviews, one rapper got taken out for talking about how he disrespected King Von's mural in Chicago, and another rapper got killed for shooting a video for a diss right in front of one of his dead ops' grave, and talked about it during an interview. So click this video to see when rappers get killed over interviews.